All right, let's talk about something huge happening in India's labor laws. I'm talking about the new Social Security Code. And look, whether you're an employee or freelancer or you run a business, this is a really big deal. We're not just talking about some minor tweak. This is a complete overhaul. And it could change everything: your paycheck, your benefits, your entire sense of security.
Okay, so to really get this, you have to understand what things were like before. For decades, Social Security in India was, well, it was a mess. A total maze of different laws, some dating back to the 1940s and 50s. It was a tangled web that was, frankly, a nightmare for employers to navigate. And worse, it left millions of workers totally unprotected. So, this new code comes in and just sweeps it all away. Dozens of old rules are gone, replaced by one single, unified framework. The whole idea here is simple. One system for everybody. That's the mission.
But okay, a new law sounds great, right? But what does this huge shift actually mean for people on the ground? How does it affect a company's bottom line? What does it change for an office worker's benefits? Or what about a delivery driver's future? Those are the real questions, and that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
So, let's start with the foundation. Because this isn't just about patching up old rules. No, this is about building a whole new system, right from scratch.
Sometimes the official legal language says it all. The goal is, and I'm quoting here, to extend Social Security to all employees and workers. Now, the most important part of that sentence is this: organized or unorganized. That's not just legal jargon. That's a huge, deliberate expansion. It's about creating a safety net that's meant to catch everyone, whether you're a salaried professional in a big company or a freelance consultant working from home.
So, where does it all begin? Well, for any business, the very first step, the starting line, is getting registered under this new system. And this is where you see the first major change. What used to be a mountain of paperwork is now totally digital. An employer just has to go to this one single online portal, the e-Shram Suvida portal, upload their info, and boom, the registration certificate gets generated. It's designed to be a one-stop shop, totally hassle-free.
And get this, the system even has a built-in fail-safe to make sure things move fast. If for some reason an application isn't processed within 7 days, the business is just automatically considered registered. That's right, deemed registered. It's a really clear signal that the government wants to slash red tape and get everyone into the system fast. Okay, so once a business is in the system, what does that mean for the benefits that employees actually get? Let's dive into two of the big ones: maternity leave and gratuity. The new code brings a lot of much-needed clarity here. The rules for maternity benefits are now standardized. We're talking 26 weeks of paid leave for a first or second child. But what's really important is that the law now formally recognizes different real-life situations. So there's leave for adopting a child. And it also acknowledges the incredible hardship of a miscarriage by providing dedicated time off to recover. It's a much more comprehensive approach.
So how do you actually qualify for these benefits? Well, it's not some random decision. The eligibility is spelled out very clearly now. A woman just needs to have had contributions paid for at least 70 days in the last 2 contribution periods. It's a straightforward way to make sure the system is there for people who are consistently part of the workforce.
All right, next up is gratuity. So what is it? Simply put, it's like a thank you bonus for long-term service. It's a big, one-time payment that your employer gives you when you leave after working there for a long time. It's basically a reward for your loyalty and hard work over the years. And here again, the process for actually getting this money is now clearly mapped out with strict timelines. And this is key. Once an employee applies, the employer has a fixed amount of time to respond and make the payment. This whole structure is designed to stop delays and make sure people get the money they've earned right when they need it.
Okay, now we're getting to what might be the single biggest change in this entire code. This is a real game changer. We're talking about formally recognizing and finally including new kinds of workers who, until now, have been completely left out of the Social Security system.
First up, we have the gig worker. Who's that? Well, it's your freelancer, your independent contractor, the consultant you hire for a specific project. They operate outside that traditional 9-to-5 job. So think about a freelance writer, a graphic designer, or maybe a software developer working on a contract basis.
And then, very similar, you have the platform worker.
This is anyone who uses an online platform or an app to find work and provide services. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The drivers for ride-hailing apps, the folks delivering your food. For the very first time, the law is officially recognizing that these people are a core part of the workforce.
So the big question is, how do you fund Social Security for them? Well, the code puts the responsibility squarely on the shoulders of the aggregators. That's the platforms, the companies themselves. They now have to contribute between 1% and 2% of their annual turnover into a special fund just for these workers. This is, and I can't stress this enough, a landmark step. It's the first real attempt to build a safety net for the modern gig economy.
All right, finally, let's look at the nuts and bolts. How does this whole new, bigger system actually work on a day-to-day basis?
Let's take a really specific example. The construction industry. There's a special tax called a cess that's levied on construction projects. And here's the crucial part. That money doesn't just go into some general government fund. No, it goes into a protected welfare fund that is used only for the benefit of construction workers. It's their fund.
And here's where the accountability comes in. The employer can't just make up a number for the cost of the project. The code is super specific. The assessment has to be, quote, duly certified by a chartered engineer. That little detail is a huge deal. It's a layer of professional oversight meant to make sure everyone is paying their fair share into that welfare fund.
And you know, this new system isn't just about paying out benefits after the fact. It's also getting actively involved in helping people find work. The old, dusty employment exchanges are getting a massive upgrade. They're being transformed into modern, dynamic career centers. And their job is so much bigger now. They're there to give career counseling, organize job fairs, and actually connect job seekers with real opportunities in both the public and private sectors.
And there are new rules for employers to follow too. They have to report their job openings to these career centers, and they have to do it on a deadline. It's at least 15 days before applications close for regional jobs and 40 days for central ones. And what that means for you, if you're a job seeker, is that you get a much better, more timely heads up about what's out there.
So, when you step back and look at the whole thing, the new Social Security Code is incredibly ambitious. It's trying to do so much, simplify decades of tangled laws, stretch that safety net to cover millions of new workers, and drag old clunky processes into the digital age. The goal is definitely clear, but the big question, the one we're all watching, is this. With one code to rule them all, is India's workforce really entering a new era of security and clarity? Only time will tell.